I'm back again. This is my second of the day. Had to do a wardrobe change in case anybody's going back and checking these out. But I'm now joined by two of people I consider to be, good friends in the industry. One is actually in New York, a fellow New Yorker. The other is out in the Midwest. I'm talking, of course, of Dynasty Frank and of Ty Miller. Whoa.
That's a train. That's a train. That's the hype train.
There we go.
I'm aboard. Woo.
Well, this is the first time I'm having a duo, tag team, if you will, on the show. So I'm gonna have to switch back and forth between the two of them. So I apologize if I am a little delayed in that or missed that. But gentlemen, how are you guys?
I'm great, man. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm very well. Very well. Thanks for having us on, Andy.
Hey, absolutely. You guys have an incredible podcast going, and the Bull Rush. Why don't you guys talk about it? Ty? I'll give it to you since you're the more
well versed. He's the well versed one.
Hey, well, I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, we just started it. It was Scott Fish and then Frank and I, and we always talk through Voxer. We use this Voxer app. I don't know if you have it. I think you do. It's something to definitely check out. It's really good for leagues. Fantasy leagues. If you can get your league mates into it, that way it's just easier instead of using the damn message board. So anyway, Frank and Scott and I got to talking, and basically we just had a lot that we felt like we could share, or at least we wanted to kind of get our own show going because we listened to a bunch of podcasts, and we kind of felt like we could put our own little spin on it, a little bit more casual, like just guys talking at the bar, kind of talking football, not too much of a schedule to it, just kind of a basic overview of what's going on and kind of give some takes on it. So we just recorded episode 12, so we're going good.
Well, we'll get into that in a second, but just exactly what you just said, that's exactly the kind of look and feel I'm going for this. However, I'm trying to remove the actual football aspect of it as far as like picks and things like that go. But that's Ty's version of what's going down. Frank, what would your recollection of this tale be?
I have no idea. Every week I'm so drunk I don't remember anything I say, if we're being honest. No, it's exactly what Ty said. We just want to get out there and just speak football, just talk football. I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and there's some great info out there. Excuse me. There is some great info with stats and charts and, all this stuff, but I can't retain it. I'm like that idiot guy that, at the end of an hour and a half podcast, sometimes I'm like, wait, what? What did you say? It just doesn't. There's a place in the business or the community for that, and there's a ton of smart guys out there that do a great job with podcasts.
Well, that was why you guys had Scott on the show.
Yes.
Speaking of Scott, I think he is actually in the cabinet behind Frank. So
back there, absolutely.
Yes. So if anybody's wondering where Scott's been and why he's not on,
right.
Frank has him stuffed in the closet in the cabinet back there.
Right. But yeah, so this was more of a three guys shooting the shit, talking football. Wait a second, I didn't ask you if I can curse on here.
No, when I was doing other stuff with this channel when we originally started, I was bleeping stuff out and editing stuff out. And my partner in all this, I've been doing the majority of this stuff, but the guy that I have plans to do feature stuff with, and we've done some stuff, is I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, Tahal Bedek, Razzball writer, and he is very outspoken. So there were many curses I had to bleep in some of the stuff we put out with rankings and stuff. But now with this, this is adults. I can't really imagine many underage people watching a show about grown men talk about how they got into this hobby that they love.
So my kids are going to check this out. No,
it really, my kids don't even watch this, and so it's like.
No, my wife. I told my wife about this. She'd be like, "So what?
Yeah,
who cares?"
Right.
She doesn't care. She hates fantasy football. She hates everything about it. She doesn't want me doing anything, and I'm like, all right, we'll talk about that later.
Apparently, so does the New York State Attorney General. So
Well, all right, Andy, we're gonna do this again because Ty and I just went on.
Do it.
We went on a rant.
I wasn't on your podcast.
Soon.
I've had 20 seconds on there, which, as anybody that heard it knows, really wasn't much. And you guys have been very kind to plug this show, so I greatly appreciate it. But I wanted to get into that. When do you guys have guests on your show, and when can I plug myself or pitch myself to be a featured guest or guest co-host or whatever you want to describe it as?
Are you free next Tuesday?
I'm free whenever you guys say go.
Well, you got to talk to Scott and Ty. Well, you got to talk to Ty, but I'm all aboard it, Andy.
Well,
I'd love to have you on.
Interestingly enough, Scott has now appeared in the last month on more Hanging Einstein episodes than he has Full Rush podcast.
It's very true.
That's the truth.
Just so we're all aware. And for those, everybody that knows the three of us here should very well know Scott Fish. And if you don't, go back like 2 or 3 episodes and you'll see the interview that he did with me. One of the greatest guys in the industry. And again, the brains behind the Bull Rush podcast. So it really, that was why I started listening. Nothing against you guys. I love you guys.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Appreciate it.
Hey, listen, I love you guys both, but it was my curiosity in Scott actually committing to something. So we see how well that lasted. But you guys are doing a tremendous job. And going back to what you were saying, Frank, about just kind of being casual, like hanging out in the bar, like you guys are like real guys, like real people, like not to say other people, in the industry or even guests of mine aren't or anything like that, but it comes across in the show, and it's a very easy listen. I know in my review, you guys kind of it sounded like you were making fun of it, but I know there was some sincerity to it, but I really meant it. Like the hour, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is that you guys record that day, it flies by because like it's just. I'm listening to stuff that interests me. I'm listening to guys, make fun about it, and it's like, damn, that's it. It's over, and sometimes it sucks to have to wait another week to hear it. So,
I'm glad you said that. But Andy, I swear to God, when I read your review, I was not taking that lightly. That was awesome. Oh, no. That was a shot at Jim at Mailman from the Duke and Boy show because he's a piece of shit, Jim. You piece of shit. No, that was a shot at him. But we all really appreciate that review, man.
Very much so.
I know, and I know, and I'm just teasing you guys because that's how we get down. But I want to give you guys first a moment to tell people who you are and what it is you do besides the Bull Rush stuff. Because like Ty, for instance, you've been very open with your stuff through your Twitter account and through the fantasy community about your band stuff. So tell some people what you do in the real world, what your other hobbies and interests are, how they can find that stuff out about you.
Sure. In real life, I'm a utility worker for the electric company in St. Louis. I've been there for like 11 years now. I'm 31, I guess I should say. This banner behind me, it's my wife. She does makeup. She's a makeup artist. Got 2 little kids. The band has been around for a little bit. It's guys that I've been off and on in with bands throughout high school, but it's called Oak Stone Ashes. The whole, I guess the name kind of is a vibe of we do more acoustic stuff. It's not like John Mayer. We try to have more like a Days of the New, Opeth. I don't know, if nobody's ever heard of Opeth, go check them out. They're a Swedish metal band, easily my favorite band. But I pull a lot from them, like their style.
The only bands I know with Swedish in their name is Swedish, House Mafia. Or, I think I'm even getting that wrong. So,
are you guys like that, Ty? Swedish House Mafia? Is that how you guys do it?
Yeah,
acoustic.
That's how we do it.
It's like acoustic.
No, man. I mean, we jam. I'm a guitarist. I write most songs. Lead guitarist, yeah. Yeah. The drummer in our band, Josh Gamboa, he's actually probably one of the best guitarists I know. But yeah. We have a couple songs where there's no percussion in it, so he comes out and he'll play some guitar, but he wanted to play drums. Like, we've been in bands, like I said, since high school. We've always been, 2 guitarists in the same band, and this one he's like, you know what, I just want to do drums, and so we have a good time with it. We only have one song released officially on iTunes and everything, but we have a lot recorded. Just trying to get it finished basically is always tricky because time, just time and getting everything lined up to get everything out. But yeah, we, you can check out our band. It's oakstoneashes.com. And we have the one single out there. It's it's on SoundCloud for free if you want to check it out, and then you can always buy it.
Awesome. And Frank, do you by any chance play drums?
Yes, yes, I do. That's why. Let me tell you something about your guitarist playing drums. Drums are a lot more fun. It's just a lot more fun.
Drummers bang harder, right?
You just bang. Yes, that's right. We bang harder instead of just playing the little. You get to hit shit. That's a lot more fun. Yeah, I used to play drums in a band years ago.
Oh, this is real.
This is absolutely real. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going off on a made up tangent here.
No, this is absolutely real. One of my claims to fame that I could pat myself on the back is that I played CBGBs 5 times.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and back in the whatever, I'm 38, so
late 80s.
Late 80s. No, about I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I want to say.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, we didn't release any albums or any songs like Ty has. And by the way, don't download it for free from SoundCloud. Go pay a buck on iTunes. Oak Stone Ashes.
Yeah, the important thing is they just hear it. That's it.
Yeah, hear it. But
I'm sure share it, whatever you got.
Once you hear it, you're gonna want to buy it.
Well, let's get the word out there. Let's get the people listening and jamming with the Ashes.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let me divert for a minute and ask you guys both, and I'll start with you, Frank, since we're talking about your CBGB drumming days. How did you make the transfer into the fantasy community? I know you're an avid player. I know you're a very passionate man at that. You are, as your Twitter handle would imply, you are a Dynasty enthusiast. So how did you sow your oats and get your start, and what got you into this?
Well, it was actually a couple of friends. I was always a Giant fan. I was a diehard Giant fan growing up, and every Sunday I lived and died with the Giants. And then I don't know how many years ago, a while ago, not too much. I want to say 10 years ago, around 10 years ago. A friend was like, we need an extra guy in the fantasy team. Why don't you play?
Did you ever play to this point?
I have never played fantasy up until that point. And then I won. And then once you win, and then I won the next year. I won 2. I joined another league, and then I won. I should have just quit then, right? I joined another league, and then I won that again. I won both leagues. I won one league back-to-back, and then the inaugural season of a second league, and then that's when it just exploded. I just loved football from the first moment I saw a concussion. First moment I saw a football play, a game, and then I just took to it, and I wanted more and more information, as much information as I can get. Sleepers, and I drafted Aaron Rodgers when he was a backup, for Brett Favre, because I just thought he was going to be great, Anyway, so and then it just went, and then I want to say it kind of died down, not my enthusiasm or my love, but the time I can dedicate to it after I had my daughter 3 years ago.
Okay.
Before then, I would spend hours online just gathering information, just doing my own rankings and stuff like that. And then once you have a kid, Andy, do you have a kid?
I have 2.
You have 2.
Yeah.
We all know. We all have kids. Ty also has two kids. My time is, I don't have that time anymore. I don't have that luxury of just spending hours and hours online checking out other people's rankings, checking out stats, targets, flow chart, all that stuff. I don't have that anymore. So I want to say the last 3 years I've relied on other people's rankings.
Well, you've turned yourself into quite a personality in the industry. So regardless of, now with the podcast, you have a voice and can put your thoughts out there in a more traditional platform. But you do have quite a presence in the Dynasty community at that. So,
Well,
now,
I appreciate that.
well,
Thank you.
sure. And are you raising or influencing your daughter to be a football fan?
Absolutely. When the
Patriots fan, right?
No, God damn it, no. Patriots fan. During the London games at
Wait,
9
what's her
o'clock.
name? Brady? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Brady.
We missed that.
Her name is Madeline, damn it.
Okay.
Madeline, not Brady. But
That's
like
Bill
what?
Belichick's daughter's name, by the way. Just
No,
saying.
it's not. Is it? You son of a bitch. Which I'm changing my daughter's name. That's it. No. When the London games at 9 o'clock, she watches it with me. She's after every play, she screams touchdown because she doesn't understand the concept. But she watches with me. She loves as soon as I come home, she's on my hip. So whatever I'm watching, wherever I'm at, she's there. So
Nice.
yeah, she's definitely gonna be into football.
Nice. All right. And Ty, as for you, you again, you kind of like, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Like you have a definite presence in the community, and up until more of this podcast, I know you've contributed here and there to different things, but this is like the real your real like baby now, right? Am I wrong in saying that? Okay.
Yeah, that's what as far as fantasy goes, is definitely what I'm focusing on right now. The bull rush. We kind of plan ahead for it, and I know we have a really good time doing it, but yeah, I do write for RotoViz officially still. That's who the last person or site I wrote for. Not person. Yeah, it's just a site. And I will write for them more this off season. That's actually when I enjoy writing. But I mean, I got into football when I was a little kid. Kind of grew up as a Bears fan. I live in Southern Illinois, and it was I didn't really have too much interest in like all the other teams. It was just the Bears, And then as I got older, got into fantasy football about 12 years ago, I guess. And a guy at work just introduced me, and I was like, man, this is awesome. I already like football, so just do it. And so like Frank, I haven't been in Dynasty as long as him. I dabble more so in all different types, redraft, Dynasty, and DFS. Dynasty, I really like just the long-term aspect of it. Anybody who hasn't played should try it, but anybody who has played understands just whenever you build a winning team from scratch, it's really rewarding, because you can stay on top for quite some time. But yeah, I got writing actually Scott Fish. This was about Scott Fish, the one guy on our show, that one guy, the guy on the couch. He actually gave me my first shot, and that was in 2012, and it was on his site, FF Oasis.
Right.
And yeah, it was a really good site. And then I went to Blindside Football for a little bit there, wrote a few articles, and then I got a shot with DLF, Dynasty League Football. Right. And that was good for me. I got onto USA Today's site a few times. Never got published in print, but a few of my articles made it onto their website, which was cool. I have screenshots. That's all I can
nice.
get. I'm like, come on, I can't print this off, right? Yeah, so it was cool, but
it happened. That's all.
Exactly. I have proof. Yeah. So yeah, that was a little bit ago, and then I wrote for RotoViz this past off season. And I typically like to write more so in the off season, just kind of who I like coming into the next season. Kind of gives me a little more time instead of like what we're seeing now is like somebody gets injured and you have all these articles talking about picking up this next guy. It's always like a snap judgment and a knee-jerk article you'll see. Whereas I like in the off season you get more time to kind of think it out, and it's kind of look long view on it.
Right. Now you're also in your resume you have a fishbowl title.
I do. Yeah, the SFB. Back when it was SFB 120, I think is what it was. Yeah. But yeah, I won in 2013. That was pretty cool. There's a lot of.
It's gotten a lot fiercer.
Oh man, so many people.
Nonetheless, you have that claim to fame. So that is definitely something to be proud of. I gotta ask you guys, who came up with the Bull Rush name?
I think it was Scott, right? Was it Scott?
I think it was me, actually.
I thought you wanted to call it the Bullshit Podcast.
I think that's right.
I'm joking. Yeah, no.
No, I don't know.
It might have been you. It might have been you.
That sounds more in line though with
With Frank.
Yeah, the Bullshit Podcast. I'm not. You know what? I'm not sure. It could have been Scott. I know he was throwing on the Voxer. He was throwing in like 12 or 13. Wait, it was originally what, the 9 route?
The 9 route, yep. And that got canned because
there's a 9 route already out there.
Yeah, yep.
So,
Yep.
all right, well, Ty, I got to ask you because it keeps haunting me every time I flick back to your picture. So you grew up a Bears fan.
Yep.
You're now in St. Louis.
But I'm a Titans fan.
Wait, you got a Titans hat on.
Yeah, I've been a Titans fan since I guess '97 when they actually went to Memphis that year before they went to Nashville in '98, and like I said, it was like I wasn't too interested in necessarily all the teams, but whenever they got close and I started seeing them some more, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I was like 12 years old, something like that, 13 years old, and I just made the switch. I know like it's sacrilege to switch teams, but it was just kind of like interesting to me. I really liked the team. I like Steve McNair, Eddie George, and then the stash of Jeff Fisher, and I just I just took on that team, and I've been a fan unfortunately ever since.
Yeah, I can see it. I got a similar Jet story, which I'm sure Frank would like to pile on.
That's not cool. Both of you is not cool. You're supposed to stay a fan of your team.
One of our podcasts.
I haven't.
Frank said he was the Jets fan in one of our podcasts.
No.
It's proof.
I haven't left the Jet fan. I'm actually going to the game Thursday night, the Bills game. But no, I like you. Well, I'm a couple years older than you, but I grew up with LT, McConkey, Bavaro, Sims, Hostetler, all this stuff.
Oh, great.
And I really wasn't as big of a football fan at that time. And then when I really started getting into football again, I decided I needed a team. And
that sucked.
The Jets were 1-15 with Rich Knight, and I said, "Hey, it only goes up from here." And
and you've been waiting ever since.
Exactly. So we had one question come in from 14-team Marker. Frank, I know saw this.
Yes, I saw it. It's a good question. Good question.
Yeah, it is. So the question was, who's better, Ty at playing the guitar, or Frank at using the F word? So, Ty, how would you answer that?
Well, we all know that Frank's cursing game is on fleek, right? But as the children would say. Yes. No, I'll leave it up to the listeners. They can go check out our song. It's called "Behind These Bars." Okay. And if you like the guitar playing more than Frank's F-bombs, which I don't know how it's possible, but if you happen to, then I'll let the listener be the judge.
Well, okay. I just want to give the listener a little sample size. All right, fuckity fuck the fucker. So I don't know how you can beat that. You know what I'm saying? I'm fleeking out my fucks.
Well, I'll feed you something that might trigger some more of this vulgarity. But what is your hatred for Steve Smith? Honestly, like this guy is like amazing. Why wouldn't you want him on your team? Like how could you disapprove of what he does for a franchise or an organization?
Now, this goes back to our last episode where Frank was talking about Steve Smith getting injured, right?
Yes, I was happy, and that makes me a low-life form of human being. You know what? You would think I like him because that gritty, in-your-face, like pushing opponents' buttons type stuff is kind of the I kind of respect that in a way, in a bit. I don't know. I can't give you a reason. I can't give you a legitimate, honest reason, except that his face bothers me. You know what I mean? Like his
He wears the helmet.
No, when he takes it
the
off
helmet.
and he's all animated and he's all like, whatever. I don't know. Listen, I can't give you a logical reason. There's no rationale behind it. I just can't stand the guy. I don't know what it is. I could tell you why I can't stand Michael Vick. That's an obvious reason. I can tell you why I can't stand Greg Hardy. That's an obvious reason. I can't tell you why I can't stand Steve Smith. Now I hope he does. Listen. I hope he does come back healthy, even though he's old, and it kind of looks, difficult. It's a long road for him to come back. I don't know why. I just really dislike him. I do not hate him on the Vic Hardy level.
All right. Well, I don't think he'll be back, honestly, but I wish he had. He deserved to go out with the better ending than what.
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree with that.
Now, you mentioned some of the antics and the push buttons and all that kind of stuff. I would have to say I'm not going to credit him as being the first, but he was among that group that was spinning the ball after first downs and bringing it up a level. So I see where you're going with that.
That kind of bothers me, yeah. Like I hate when OBJ does that too. I can't stand that. You got a first down, you're down by 20 points. Just get back into the huddle. Let's act like you've been there before. Barry Sanders type of way.
I hate it to the point that now what it's become is I think it was Griff Whalen last week on Monday Night Game when they were making a comeback. He caught a ball diving. It was like at the first down marker. It could have been even ruled that he didn't even get the yardage for it. And the ball's under him. Could have been a questionable call if the ball hit the turf or not. And before he can even complete the catch and everything, he's getting up to point first down. I'm just thinking, this is ridiculous.
And it's Griff Whalen, dude.
Right.
You're Griff Whaling. You're not supposed to be doing this. You were involved in that horrific botched punt, snap, whatever the fuck that was. You shouldn't be. You should be hiding in
What
shame.
the chuck, man? What the chuck is what they called it.
I knew I could get it out of him. But, yeah, exactly. So if you want to blame Steve Smith for being kind of the senior of that, fine. But performance and play, I think you owe him an apology. So maybe
you're right.
Future episode.
So you're right, Andy. I cannot refute that. Yeah, Steve Smith, I know you're watching. I apologize, and I hope you get better, even though you probably won't. But I just hope you get better.
Well, you mentioned this before with kids and all that. He had one of the coolest tweets I thought was when he got ejected from a preseason game. He went to watch the rest of the game with this kid in the crowd, and they, Instagrammed the picture and say, "Thank you, NFL, for allowing me to watch the game with my son."
Did he?
Yeah, it was pretty. See, that's the kind of stuff you should like.
Good going, Andy, making me feel like a scumbag.
Well, I'll make you feel better real quick. And just keep it with the Ravens. I'm tied to you because last season I liked Lorenzo Taliaferro quite a bit last year.
Yes.
And you had a tweet. I don't even remember what it was, but it spurned this diatribe that I just after reading your tweet went and locked myself in a room, and an hour later had like this long essay about why everybody should own Taliaferro last year, and I quoted you in it, and that was my thanks to you. So
thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if it
you were my muse. You were my muse for a day, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thanks. And Steve Smith thanks you as well. So I have to ask because it is a burning topic and a hot topic, and that, of course, I don't know when this is actually going to post or air, but today the decision came down, as I mentioned, in New York State. They're now going to put DFS as illegal, and I don't know when this actually goes into effect. I have a lineup in the NBA going tonight, so it could be tomorrow, it could be next month, but I don't expect this is going to be over anytime soon. What are your reactions to this? Tyler, I'm going to start with you. Do you think this affects the fantasy gaming community as a whole? Do you think this is just DFS isolated? What's your take on this? Because my feeling is, and I talked with Jake Seeley about this, New York is a huge domino to start this chain effect, if you will. So what's your reaction to the news that came out today?
Well, yeah, Frank was the first one to actually tell me about it, and I know he was quite upset. I think it's kind of a situation that DFS is going to go through a little transformation until it's regulated.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of money going around and states want their cut. Basically, that's what it's going to come down to. You look at Nevada, they got to protect the casinos. New York has Wall Street, which is legal gambling. So it's, they have lottery. It's I think that it's people just trying to get a grasp on what's actually happening, because now it's making enough of a footprint where people are taking a lot of notice, and they're seeing advertisements on the TVs all the time. I mean, on DirecTV, DraftKings and FanDuel have round-the-clock advertisement channels. Like that kind of stuff is just, of course, going to make these people, like the Attorney General, they're going to take notice to it. Basically, that's all it is. And when they don't understand it, I think it's just ignorance. I think that's basically what it is. As I mentioned, I love DFS. I play DFS. I have basketball going tonight. I'll have hockey probably tomorrow, and I have football on the weekends. I think that to see it happen in New York, you're going to see a lot more people stand up to it. I think DraftKings and FanDuel will really push against this, and you're going to have a lot of people writing letters to the officials in the state, because I think it is more of a misunderstanding than anything. I think you're just going to have, because it's not gambling. Anybody that plays it knows it's not gambling. Frank and I just talked on our podcast will be probably out tomorrow on Wednesday. It's basically like we spend all this time studying this stuff. It's educated guesses, but there's a lot of time that goes into it. It's not just putting $5 on black and letting it roll. It's you actually have to spend a lot of time doing this stuff. And to somebody who doesn't do it, I can see where it might look like gambling. But that's what I'm just saying. I think it's just information needed to be handed down to somebody.
Absolutely, but the one issue I will take with the gambling word, and by all means, I'm a proponent of fantasy sports and DFS and the like and everything, but I think anytime you wager money to win money, technically you can define it as gambling, although there is a lot more involved. And by the same token, to an extent, as you mentioned, the stock market and Wall Street and all that is gambling as well, because you can very easily lose your entire investment if things don't go as planned. So it's taking a risk. But I was saying this, and you just mentioned it as well. It really seems like a lot of misinformation, and it really seems like the DFS industry just kind of went all Steve Smith on the world and wanted to put it in everybody's face, and it kind of sat with people the wrong way, and those people happen to be the ones in position to do something about it. So, Frank, you're here in New York with me. How does this affect you? And are you like Ty? I'm not a big DFS guy. I put $1, $2 lineups in. So this is nothing. This is more just to have some action than to, I'm truly seriously invested in this.
Right, I'm with you, Andy. I'm the same exact way. I played I think one NHL DFS this year, and I think I won $1.80. You know what I mean? And I was happy. It was a 50-50. I put in $1 and I won $1.80. It was great. There's so many larger issues in New York City than fucking DFS. Why is Eric T. Schneiderman, the New York Attorney General, have anything to do with DFS? Why? It just drives me nuts when the government tells me I can't do anything with my fucking money, but you have the lottery, $1 in a dream, $1. You've seen the commercials, Andy. That stupid jerk-off, bald-headed idiot, always on my fucking television, telling me $1 in a dream. That's not gambling, though.
Right.
That's not gambling. Yeah, the little bit of luck with that little idiot. Right. It absolutely drives me nuts how a politician feels the need to get involved with an ordinary guy. Listen, I go to work, I pay my fucking taxes. Can I just come home, put $1 on an NBA DFS or NFL DFS and enjoy the fucking games? Why? Why does it have to be ruined by another fucking politician? I can't stand politicians, and it just drives me absolutely insane. Bonkers.
Let me just interject for a moment. I did say you could curse, but I think there is like 100 cap on it. So
I'm reaching it then.
Now we know what the F stands for in DFS.
Yes. Well, according to Frank, DFS.
sports.
You do an extra F in DFF at that. So,
Right.
all right. Well, we could talk about that topic forever, and that's certainly something that's going to be, front page sports news for a long time. But you said something earlier that I wanted to kind of get into and get your guys' opinion on this as well. You said you fell in love with football from the first concussion, and I know you were, tongue in cheek, but the funny thing is, like, we actually didn't see the concussions back then. They happened. We didn't see them. And now we see them, and there's, the whole concussion protocol, everything like that. The game appears to be getting more and more violent. The more, the bigger guys get, the faster they get, the stronger they get, the hits seem to be more impactful, everything like that. And there's this huge, section of the world crying for, football to be banned or stopped to and all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, its popularity, almost grows at twice that rate. So what do you see for the future of the game? Do you think there's any change to it going forward? Do you think this is something that is just people will get over eventually? I mean, what's your take on that, Frank?
Listen, I remember growing up, Steve Atwater killing people, Ronnie Lott destroying people. Actually, the harder to hit, the every time they targeted a helmet, a head-to-head, it was phenomenal. We loved it. It was absolutely great. Yes, it wasn't great for the players getting hit, but Lawrence Taylor destroyed guys. It was fantastic. That's what I loved about it. It was, and now I'm not saying it's right, but now they are bringing this health issue, the concussion issues into. I think it's always been there. I mean, these guys have been killing each other from since I can remember,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the popularity is going to go down because we like to watch it. And you hear all these stories about these players coming up from tough backgrounds. They're playing football to get scholarships into schools so they can get an education. If they're not playing football, they can't afford these scholarships. They can't afford the education to go to these Division I schools. So I think kids are still going to continue to play football. I think we're going to continue to watch it, and concussions are going to continue, and that's it. I think it's going to stay like this for till these soccer moms and soccer dads decide to come together and make some sort of committee or some sort of fucking community group that bans football, and now we play two-hand touch.
Right. Right. And Ty, what about you? I mean, I'm not saying I think it's going to fall off the face of the earth or anything like that. I just mean, do you think there's going to be any radical changes? People have talked about going back to the old style helmet, so people will be, a little,
Right. I read that in Freakonomics actually. In the first Freakonomics books, they brought that up. That they say players and human beings, I guess, they feel more a sense of safety, because they're so padded up and they can use their body more recklessly. But if you don't have a face mask and you have a little rubber helmet with a little fuzz, you're not gonna go, full out trying to destroy people because it's gonna hurt. I don't know the numbers of concussions in rugby, but rugby seems like a pretty tough sport. You see some of these dudes, these massive, huge fucking Samoans just killing each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know the concussion numbers in rugby, but
or I mean anything, MMA, boxing, hockey, all this stuff.
Right.
I think it's prevalent everywhere. Even baseball's, having concussions at a rapid rate now. So anyway, I mean, Ty, do you have something you would add to that?
Yeah, I would just, I guess my main take in this is that humans are violent. We are violent people, all the way back to gladiator days, knights dueling. I mean, you look in boxing for so long, for 100 years, boxing was big, and now UFC, the bloodier, the more brutal this is, the better. The better the race. UFC is skyrocketed. NFL, I'm same with you guys. I mean, we used to just watch quarterbacks' helmets just get ripped off, and everybody like, yeah, playing football myself. I don't know if you guys played or not, but you get nailed in the head, and the coach is like, oh, you just got your bell rung. Right. And I'm like, dude, I can't see. I just lost consciousness. But okay, I'll go back in. Right. I mean, that was the society that we've grown up in, And I think the only thing that would really change, because you can't change the game too much. I think the only thing that might evolve is the technology. The helmets. They're slowly evolving. I mean, look at military, just how the military has evolved with body armor and stuff of that sort. I think you get to that point where they start putting some of that into the NFL helmets, maybe the padding. I know they already have with some of the padding for lighter weight and whatnot, but I think that's the only thing that can really change, because as long as you have the rules of a man carrying a football and another man has to tackle him, there's always going to be a risk of injury.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, I'm gonna get off this sour, depressing stuff and bring it to the portion of the show I like to call "Give Back to the People." I just came up with that. That's not officially the title of this.
Like 7 seconds ago, you came up with that?
Yes, that was more like 3, but yes.
I want to get a trademark on that, man.
I enjoy giving out gifts to the few souls that watch this show. So I've been able to coerce some of the former guests into giving away pretty valuable prizes at that. So what can my 2 members of the Bull Rush, my 2 distinguished gentlemen guests tonight, give as a gift? And it could be, I wouldn't insult somebody and say 20 seconds of airtime, but maybe a minute, or something they can actually get off their chest, or complete a full sentence. Something along those lines, or maybe a band T-shirt, or lessons in etiquette from Frank.
Oh yeah.
Things of that nature. Is there any spur of the moment prize you guys can think to come up with?
Andy, do you just want me to take my shirt off, or what? No.
No. I said Stone Ashes band shirt.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'll tell you what.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. If that's the prize you want to give, because JJ Zacharias, a late round QB, is going to give 20 minutes of consultation through a Skype call to somebody. If you want to have 20 minutes to have a one-on-one Skype call and take off your shirt and do all kinds of other things, we can set that up too.
You should totally do that, Ty.
My PayPal account is...
The ball is in your court, my friend.
No, you know what? I will, for you being gracious enough to have me on, I'll give away a band shirt, like you mentioned. All they got to do is hit me up on Twitter. I think they can see my handle here at Ty_N_STL, and I'll let you pick someone, Andy, and then once they do that, all I need is a shirt size and an address.
I'm like a squirrel preparing for winter right now, accumulating all of these wonderful prizes. And
okay. All right.
I have them stashed and piled up now, and I have to figure out a way to make some kind of interesting contest. But the biggest thing is I got to get the subscribers up, because
all right.
You guys have checked the show out. Everybody that's watched the show actually they enjoy it, and I know a lot of it is embellished a little, but at the same time I think there is some sincerity to it. So
sure,
absolutely, I enjoy it.
I'm hoping we're accomplishing something by doing these. But before we wrap up, because I talk to you guys all day, so I don't want to get caught up with what's actually being shown to the world and what's just our own private conversations, because I think a lot of people don't want to know or be bored by all the little insignificant things we talk about. What are some things you would like to share with the world before you end? Any movies you'd like to recommend? Any new songs in your playlist? Foods that you would avoid? Diets you're on? Beers that you drink? Anything? Ty, I'll start with you.
I'll go. All right. So you mentioned the beer. Okay. So I'm just gonna go with your list there because I like that. Okay. Shiner Bock beer from Texas, Shiner, Texas. You got to try it. Okay. I had it for the first time in San Diego. Maybe like 4 or 5. Well, I guess it was about 5 years ago. Loved it. All right. That's my favorite beer now. My favorite new song that I heard come across Spotify is from Chris Cornell. Soundgarden lead singer.
I'll give you a Chris Cornell story in a minute. Okay.
The song is called "Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart." It's a badass song, man. It's got some mandolins in it. I just love that stuff. That's like I mentioned earlier, Opeth. If you've never heard of that band, go check them out. Their best album is called Watershed. It's got a wide variety. You'll hear it. I mean, They got a lot of acoustic mixed in with some heavy stuff. It's a really cool blend. And then finally, my favorite podcast is not the Bull Rush podcast. It's actually Stuff You Should Know. If you have not checked that one out, you got to go check it out. I mean, they have 7 years of information on there, and once you check out the library, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Awesome. Good information, and hopefully somebody has learned something new, and it's stuff you should know. Before I get to Frank, I'll tell you a quick story. So I used to work, before I got on the fire department, I used to work for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and that's the company that picks you up. And one day I get a return car from Peter Cornell, Chris Cornell's brother, and they look like, closely resembling brothers would look. And I'm looking at him, and he's like, yeah, it's me. And I'm like, tell this guy is pissed off, and I'm like, are you Chris? Is this like, you think he's getting all mad. Why would I use my last name if I'm making up the first name and all this kind of stuff? So I'm basically badgering this guy the whole time, whole checkout process, and then he of course needs a ride, and I'm the one lucky enough to give him a ride. So I'm basically driving him for 15, 30 minutes, trying to get him to sing songs, trying to get him to tell me about brother Chris. And, he was not too happy with that one. But
he's like, I ain't Chris, Jesus.
Exactly. You could tell there was some jealousy of what his brother has accomplished. But Frank, I'm going to turn it to you now. Now, hopefully, while Ty was giving those answers, you were preparing some yourself.
I wasn't. I'm sorry, Andy. I really wasn't. I was thinking about my Chris Cornell story. A buddy of mine, I'm a huge Soundgarden fan, and a buddy of mine.
Hold on. Y'all just gonna one up me here? I just like his song. Now you all got to meet.
Oh, of course.
Whatever. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead, Frank.
So I'm whatever. It was a regular day at work, and I got a text from my friend, and he's taking a selfie with Chris Cornell and his son. And
wow.
I guess he has a younger son or whatever. And I'm like, what the hell? Where'd you meet him? He goes, he's in my building. He's renting an apartment while his townhouse is being built or reconstructed or whatever the hell they're doing, renovated across the street. So he's in this high-rise in Manhattan on, like, 3rd Avenue, like 33rd or 36th and 3rd, whatever it is. And he's in the high-rise taking a picture, and they're, like, on the same floor. Like, one's one way, my buddy's apartment's to the left of the elevator, and Chris Cornell's is to the right. I'm like, holy shit, bro. And he's, like, seen him, like, 6 or 7 times. I'm like, you son of a bitch. And he wasn't even a Soundgarden fan. He's like, oh, that's Chris Cornell. Like, whatever. Meanwhile, I'd be like, oh, my God, it's Chris Cornell. I'd be doing what you would be doing, Andy, with that. Sing something. Sing.
Right, well, if you ever run into Peter Cornell, don't start talking about his brother.
Don't call him Chris.
Right. Yeah. Now, Ty, do you have a Chris Cornell story? Because it seemed like you got a little upset that we didn't allow you the time.
No, I do not. I guess the closest thing I have is when I was in high school and the year afterwards, I was a stagehand in St. Louis here. I helped build the stages for the venues and whatnot. And I got to meet a lot of musicians. I had breakfast with Jerry Cornell. Jerry, see, I met Jerry Cornell. Yeah, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not like I sat there and BS'd with him, but like we were all at the same table. But yeah, the closest I ever got with Chris Cornell is setting up his show when he was doing a solo acoustic deal going around. But that was it. I never got to meet him, but it was kind of cool.
Nice. Well, I was just thinking now, if I had a bigger budget, it would totally have been worth it to do this. But how awesome would it be if, as we're wrapping up now, Scott Fish just popped up out of here and said, hey, guys.
Well, at least a cut-up cardboard like box. You should have had him over here.
Frank, just let him out of the cabinet back there.
No. He still pays. He owes me money.
Yeah, my budget isn't even big enough for a cardboard cutout. And life-size one at that would cost a lot because he's a big man. But I want to thank you guys both for giving me the opportunity to do this and jumping on with me tonight. I had fun talking to you as I always do. I hope some people got a chance to see a different side of you. And you know what? Again, we didn't really talk about anything fantasy football related, and that's kind of the point. So go ahead and who wants to plug the show before we sign off here?
Go ahead,
Go
Ty.
for-
He's the mouthpiece of the show.
Mouthpiece. All right. I don't know if that's an insult or not.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Hey, check
Why
us
does
out.
everybody think I'm insulting them?
Yeah, the Bull Rush podcast. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, any other typical podcast format. Show usually comes out Wednesday mornings. If it's not out Wednesday morning, it'll be out Wednesday night. And we just kind of go through, different news notes. Frank gives some hot takes, flaming hot takes, and we, occasionally we do a segment called Blow Your Wad, which is our version of waiver wire pickups. So we hope people enjoy it. And Scott, I promise, will be back on the show at some point.
Eventually,
so.
yes, he will.
I hope so.
I want to say thank you, Andy. This is a great thing you got going on here, man, and I hope it does blow up for you. And I know I'm watching it, so yeah, this is really cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate the compliment. I appear to have cornered the market on this right now. I don't know how big the market was, but it seems like people, like I said, people seem to be enjoying to get to see the other side of people. We all are familiar with each other from Twitter, but there's only, I keep saying this, there's only so much you can express about your personality in without the video, without the audio, and without just having some random generic general questions about life without a specific focus. So it's kind of interesting for me to get to know everybody on a different level, and hopefully that's what people are getting from this as well. So thank you guys again. You guys did me the favor of putting an overlay with your Twitter handles on there. So everybody who's not following these two already, by all means, go out and start following them now, and ask all of your dynasty and fantasy football related questions, and they'll be sure to answer. Frank might curse at you, but it'll be worth it.
It's in love. It's in love. I love everyone I curse at.
Exactly. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, and for Dynasty Frank, for Ty Miller, for Scott Fish, and myself. I want to say thank you, and keep tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks again. Take care.